Hello everyone, Harry Baldock here, editor for Telecom. We're here at Submarine Networks EMEA. I'm delighted to be joined by Mychael Owen from Ultramap. Mike, we were just saying before we got on camera that this is something that we've been doing for a number of years now, and it's been really kind of interesting to see the Ultramap growth direction and the pace. Maybe you can take us back to 2022 when we first spoke, and we can kind of work our way forward.
I mean, the reason I've got my laptop sat here is to remind me of that journey, really, because you're quite right. As a marketer, as a guy who's trying to help to build the brand and tell our story, consistency is important. So I thought, I wonder if when I talk to Harry, I'm talking in a zigzag way, or I'm, sticking to the same thing. To remind both of us, when we chatted in 2022, there was only one word I homed in on really, and it was surety, because when UltramapGlobal protect assets, the client has to be sure. And because every time we are commissioned, cable strikes always drop. And for 60% of our clients, there are no cable strikes. And that's growing every year as a percentage. Surety is still as valid today as it was in 2022, all those years ago when we first chatted. In 2023, I talked about how the connection between being better informed and being better protected. And it was really linking back to the surety and explaining why you can be so sure. And it's because there's so much data inside Ultramap. We have more data than anybody else. So we can protect better because we understand the patterns. Last year was an interesting year because the growth has, as you kindly referenced, it has been growing. UltramapGlobal has been growing year on year. And we had these three I words last year, which I said, because they all begin with I, they're all easy I still forgot them. So I've got them written down here. So it's insights, infrastructure, and interpretation. It's all mentioned at our website if people want to look. But basically, it was all about investing. So I think in terms of profitability, 2024 wasn't the most profitable year, but it's because as we have more responsibility, we have to make sure that we can deliver on the promises we're making. And with the accelerated growth, or the accelerating growth, we just had to invest back to make sure we can keep delivering on the things we say all the time. So that's the first 3 years. This year is different again, because what we're doing, we've got this phrase which is from client number one to world number one. And all we're doing, that's actually talking to universities and educational institutions around the world more than customers, strangely. Because the journey over 16 years from client number one to world number one, and by the way, world number one is defined that Asset Monitor is UltramapGlobal software. It's a very specialist software. We don't know of any other software in the space that has as many customers, basically. So that's where that comes from. But the reason we're talking about from customer number one to world number one is because if you pull the camera back a bit, it's not just about the service you offer, of course, it's consistency and resilience and how do you go from, because we didn't on day one go, let's try and be the most prolific in our space. It didn't just happen, but we're kind of going, what did we do and how can we help other people to learn from what we've done, both the good and the bad, because we've done some not so successful things along the way. I asked Martin, the founder, what 4 or 5 things do you think, Martin, have helped us to get to where we are? And the first one he mentioned is we're very proactive. It's because UltramapGlobal, people used to see us as insurance to protect the asset, but we're actually assurance because we stop it happening. So the proactive nature of the work is one of them. And Martin also mentioned because we were kind of focused and first, we were the first to attempt to protect the assets in the way that UltramapGlobal do. It's not the be all and end all being first, but we were the first to do it very, very well, not just the first to do it and be lucky enough to just keep doing it. So these are the things that Martin thinks. And probably most important of all is the one that Martin reminded me of just before as we were chatting. It's the results bit, really. It's the fact that, as we mentioned earlier, if you commission UltramapGlobal to protect the asset, the cable strikes always reduce. They've never not reduced. And as I said, 60-something% now have no cable strikes at all. Last thing I'll mention is, every time I'm here, I arrange to listen to and learn from 3 to 6 clients, depending on how many are available. I ask them about, what are we not so good at, as well as what could we be better at. And they kind of say the same thing, that it's sometimes hard to choose UltramapGlobal because we're invisible. And you want to buy things you can see.
Something tangible.
Yeah, but that's the last thing I wanted to mention, was they kind of say, look, we know that if we're averaging 2, 3, 10 cable strikes a year, and after appointing us that figure drops, the fee is paid for with the prevention of just one for many, many years. So it's not a complex business model. Once we're in, but we're kind of in. So there you go. I'm sorry that you said one little thing and I said one big thing.
No, not at all. I mean, in the environment we're in, with so much investment going in, and there's so many high profile cable strikes now, this kind of technology is more important than ever. So I think, maybe it won't be quite so invisible for long with things going the way they are.
You're right. There's a lot of people talking about it. We're glad to be here. I think the timing's more right than ever. There's 20%-ish year-on-year growth, which is continuing. So let's just see what happens next.
Yeah, excited, and I look forward to catching up next year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Cheers, Harry.